I'm Joel,
And I'm Andrene.
and you're listening to Rewind Rewatch, a 90s movie podcast. Welcome back, Rewinders, to episode 120
Woohoo!
of the Rewind Rewatch podcast, where my sister and I discuss a different 90s film each episode. On this and every episode, we will talk about what we noticed from the 90s film, including what may not have aged very well. We'll try to identify what the theme of the movie is. And at the end of the episode, we will give it a rewind rating from 1 to 5 based on how likely we are to rewatch this movie again in the future. All of the movies that we review on this podcast are requested by you, the listeners, and we have an extensive list of requested films. And the pick for today is The Players Club from, I think, 1999?
1998.
1998, starring LisaRaye and Monica Calhoun and Bernie Mac and Ice Cube and Jamie Foxx. And Ice Cube both wrote and directed Players Club.
You sure did. This is an R-rated film with a 1 hour and 44-minute runtime, and this was requested by one lucky listener this week. Shout out to Kashaka out of Georgia.
Shout out to Kashaka. All right, let's talk a little history. What is your history with this film? Have you seen it before? And when and where did you see it?
I have seen The Players Club before, but honestly, it may have only been once. Like in its entirety, I think I've seen like snippets of it in the past, but I think I may have sat down to watch the whole thing like one time in the past. So like I knew enough about it going into it. I remembered that one scene. Like I think that's the one scene that like I remember.
Junior's bachelor
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, that's the one scene that I distinctly remember.
Yeah, it's like you're not gonna forget that part.
Yeah. So yeah, it was I was looking forward to revisiting it again. It's been a little time for me, so.
Yeah, and that's why I picked this movie is because, yeah, I've seen it before, maybe once or twice, but I feel like I hadn't seen it in a while. So I was like, yo, I kind of want to watch Players Club again. So that's what we did. All right. So before we get into the nitty gritty, and you guys are gonna have to pardon my voice, which is a little shot this morning because we're recording this the day after the New York Knicks just won the NBA Finals.
Let's go Knicks!
So I've been a Knicks fan my entire life, and yeah, just to suffice it to say, I was doing a lot of partying yesterday, and now I have no voice.
Bing bang.
But we're still recording for you, the lovely listeners. So, Andrene, give us in one sentence a summary of the Players Club or Players Club. I don't think there's the. Is it just Players Club?
I think it is The Players Club.
Oh, it is.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Everything matters. Okay.
A single mom works her way through college by dancing at a strip club and tries to protect her younger cousin from the dangers surrounding that nightlife.
Yeah, so I think so that's the first place to start. So the main character of this film is Diamond
/ Diana.
/ I don't know
Diana's her real name, and Diamond is her stripper name.
Yeah, but I feel like at one point her parents called her Diamond. Did I make that up?
I don't recall that.
Okay, so maybe I made that up. So Diamond, played by LisaRaye, gets in a fight with her parents at the beginning of the movie because she wants to go to a HBCU, but they want her to go to a different school up north. And she's pregnant, but she gets in an argument with her dad because he's like, if you don't go to the school that I want you to go to, I'm not paying for it. And she's like, fine, I'm leaving. And then she just moves out while being pregnant and presumably she's a high school senior.
Yeah, that whole scene baffled me.
So like the whole setup for this movie is kind of odd, and I did not recall obviously I remember LisaRaye's a stripper in this movie, but I did not remember that she was doing it to pay for college.
Mhm.
This premise is a little odd
It's shaky at best.
because it's like, okay, I understand you're writing this movie about a strip club. Okay, this girl, why is she stripping? Okay, she's stripping to pay for college. Okay, why does she need to strip to pay for college? And this is the question where I feel like maybe the writing doesn't really answer
Exactly.
cleanly.
I thought my recollection of the film was she was pregnant and her parents kicked her out. But that's not what happened. First of all, she left. There was no actual kick out.
No.
And the argument was, I want you to go to this college. And she said, no, I want to go to this one. But it's like,
He's like, well, if you want to go there, then I'm not going
I'm
to
not
pay
gonna
for it. And she's
pay.
like, fine, I'll find out how to pay for it myself. And I'm getting my own place. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, that doesn't make
it
any
didn't make
sense.
any sense.
You could have just stayed in your parents' house and still paid for your own college.
Yeah, she could have got a loan to go to the school that she wanted to go to. But apparently that wasn't an option in this world.
She also could have just taken her dad's money and gone to the school he wanted because he was paying
Yes.
for it.
Which means he had the means to do so.
So, like,
Yeah.
you wanted to go to the HBCU that bad?
Yeah, I didn't really understand what was happening. I'm like, so she basically created this situation where
She did.
where she's a victim and now she has to work at the strip club to pay for it. But
Like, listen,
I'm
I
like,
understand, like, if you want to go to a certain school or you want to go study a specific program because she's, like, studying to be a news broadcaster. She wants to go to this journalism school, whatever. Fine. But if your dad is paying for college, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, for me, I couldn't really sympathize with that. I was like, girl, just go to the school. Either go to the school that he says, or you could still live in the house and just pay your way through college.
Yeah, there was no reason
You
for her to
know?
move out. So I'm a little blurry on I'm getting the timeline a little bit blurred because she has this boy and we see her leave at the beginning, but then we fast forward to the end of her senior year.
Mhm.
She's a month away from finals and she's like, "Oh, I was able to figure out how to pay for this by like stripping or whatever." Now, over the course of this time, the baby daddy goes away.
So
I don't remember.
early on, like almost directly after she moves out of her parents' house, she and the baby daddy are living in an apartment together. But shortly thereafter, he decided that like he needed space. Basically, he didn't want to be a father. Is kind of what I got from that. And so they broke up.
So why move in with her?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, yeah, okay.
I
Fine.
mean, he
So they
maybe
break up.
yeah, maybe he thought like, oh, playing house would be fun, but then like I guess like once you have a baby, it's different, and he realized this is not I'm
Mhm.
not cut out for this, and so they broke up relatively early, and then she ends up dating this new guy, Lance. Lance is a guy that she met at the strip club. He was a customer there, and I guess they started talking or whatever. We don't get to see that develop, but eventually he's there, and he's her man. Like, and now she's her kid is like I don't know 4, 5, 6. I'm bad with kids. It can talk and walk and all that. 5, maybe 4.
Well, yeah. Well, we know it's probably 4
Oh, because
because
of college, yeah,
she was pregnant her senior year of high school, and now she's in her final year. So
right. So the kid's like 4. She has Lance. Lance does not live there, but they've been dating a while, so he's obviously over there often enough. And so that's kind of how he kind of came into the picture. And she's in school now. She's doing relatively well. She's on her way to graduate. And what ends up happening is she gets a phone call, I think from her mom, who was like, oh, my sister's daughter, which would be
her cousin.
Diana's cousin, is basically, we need your help. We want you to like make sure she stays out of trouble. She's gonna come stay with you for a little bit. And it wasn't even a question. It was like, she's coming to stay with you.
Yeah, but it's like, bro, like I'm a single mom and I'm a full-time student. Or at least she's a part-time student, so maybe the kid's older than 4.
Whatever the
But
situation
whatever the case
is, like,
is, like
you want me to take care of her?
I live in a little apartment with my kid and I'm working and I'm going to school. Now you're asking me to also take care of this other grown-ass woman?
Yeah, I didn't understand why.
Of all the people in the family, I'm the only person that
Yeah,
could
because
have
the
done
cousin
this?
is 18, so like she's not
Oh, well,
yet.
you always said she was your favorite cousin, so I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. But it's like, but I have a life. It's like,
And
what?
also, who's paying for her? Because no one's sending her a check to take care of her cousin.
Nah, it was just like, yo, make sure she get back on her feet. It's like, what?
Yeah, the whole thing, I just couldn't understand. Like, why are you're putting so much pressure on this young woman who already has so much on her plate. So I didn't love that either.
Yeah, it feels like Ice Cube knew what he wanted to happen in the film, but he didn't really spend a lot of time explaining why. So it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, so her cousin moves in with her, and then her cousin gets turned out. Okay, but then it's like, but why is her cousin staying with her? Oh well, her mom called her and asked. It's like he didn't really like
Yeah.
flesh it out in a way where it's like, does this actually make sense? But it's like whatever. The cousin's here now, so maybe you probably already know what happens because you said you've seen this movie before. But like, what what how are you reading this cousin who shows up, played by Monica Calhoun? Her name
Trouble.
is Ebony.
Trouble. So
Because
we've I want to back up by saying this. We've seen Monica Calhoun on the pod before.
hmm
She was Mia in The Best Man. And if you watch The Best Man, you know what Mia did.
hey.
Okay? So already I'm like, she's one of these actresses when I see her, I'm like, okay, what's this girl about to do? She about to
Well,
be
and the
trifling.
irony is in The Best Man, her husband's name was Lance. So
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that.
she's
She's trifling.
she likes guys named Lance.
So she shows up. It's like, oh, my cousin's about to stay here. And like as soon as she walks in, and Lance is like, she's like, oh, this is my boyfriend Lance. And Lance is looking at her and she's like, hey, I'm like, it's gonna be trouble. Like, it's just gonna be trouble. You could tell it's gonna be trouble. All we really know about her is that, like, I guess she was getting into trouble, but we don't really get specifics. So we don't know, like, does she have a criminal record? Is she fast with the guys? We don't really know, but she's getting into trouble is all they tell us. And the cousin learns obviously that Diana Diamond is dancing at the strip club, and she's like, "Dope! I want to come and make money." She's all about making money. She's like, "I want to make money. Like, let's get this thing on." And the one thing that Diana's mom tells her is like, "We don't want your cousin anywhere near that club. Like, make sure she does not work there." And so she ends up lying to her mom and telling her her cousin is not working there when her cousin is in fact working there, and she is pressed. And the one thing that I saw as like vastly different is when you look at when Diana starts at the club versus when her cousin starts at the club. Because when Diana starts, she's very nervous. She's still trying to cover up a little bit. She has to basically get drunk in order to do a lap dance because she feels so insecure about getting naked in front of a crowd of men, which I can
Or one creepy man who
oh,
comes
yes.
every day.
Which you can only imagine is like, I have to go out there and do what?
Nah,
Like,
yeah.
I can't even
It's like, yeah,
imagine.
you're getting on a stage to take your clothes off. Like that, yeah.
Like, I can't even.
Yeah.
And so when she starts, you have these two other women that are more seasoned who work at the club. So Ronnie and
They're
Trix.
more something.
Trix is a funny name because Trix is her name. So Ronnie and Trix, they actually end up recruiting Diana because initially Diana is working at a shoe store, and these two ladies are there trying to get new shoes, and they see her, and they're basically like, "Girl, you over here making this chump change when in reality you can like use your body to make money." And they end up getting her to go to the Players Club to get the job. And initially, it's like we don't really know what's going on between them, but Diana seems to be kind of cautious when it comes to Diana. Sorry, when it comes to Ronnie and Trix. Later on, we see that she's kind of like giving them eyes. Uh, Trix is looking at her like she's crazy, like she acts like she's better than them, and we're not quite sure why there's this resistance.
Well,
So when the cousin shows up, she's basically telling her like, "Yeah, like you really can't trust them. You got to be careful. You got to watch your back." And it seems as if Ronnie and Trix are doing these like parties outside of the club. And it's one thing if it's like, okay, we're doing like a bachelor party when we're going out there and we're dancing. But then as the movie progresses, we start to realize that it seems as if they're possibly doing sex acts. Like it's not just we're going to do a party and we're dancing.
not only that, but Ronnie sees herself as kind of like this stripper kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, she's doing like private parties where she's doing God knows what for extra money. Um, but also it seems like she is like recruiting the other strippers for certain parties and then taking a cut of the money. So she's making like money from herself, but then money from the other girls as well.
Mhm.
So she's kind of like pimping them out, but not really. But she's also presenting it to them and to Ebony in particular as like a mentorship type of thing. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
let me show you the ropes.
Mhm.
And what they're not knowing is that she's actually making money off them on the back end or on the front end. But they just think, oh, I'm getting extra money and
Mhm.
Ronnie found me this job. And Ebony also seems to be extremely impressionable, is the vibe that I
Very
got
naive.
throughout this
Yeah.
film, which is interesting for someone who is presumably getting herself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
She didn't seem to have a lot of street smarts.
Yeah. I expected her attitude to be a little bit different based on how the family was describing her. Um, because there's one scene in particular where she's at the club, she's drunk, she's trying to get somebody to pay for a lap dance, nobody wants to pay. And this is where Ice Cube's character and one of his other partners are in the club. She approaches them and they're like, "We don't want to spend money on you, you drunk, you're a hot mess," basically. And she's like, "Well, if you don't want to pay for a dance, what will you pay for?" So I'm like, "Girl, what?" And then you see her basically leaving the club with them. Basically, she gets into their car and they're about to pull out. And
And
luckily,
and they're like holding her up. Like
yeah,
she's like
she's
wasted.
wasted. And Diana finds out what's going on and she's able to run outside and stop it before anything could happen. And she's just like, "Oh, my cousin's here. I guess I can't go, guys." And it just seemed like you said, it just seemed very odd because it's like she's always getting herself in trouble, but it also felt like she didn't really know what was going on because when Diana says to her, like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Yo, I'm just going to dance." And it's like, "Well, why can't you just dance in the club?" It's
Well,
like,
yeah.
what?
And this is the thing. It's like you were obviously going to sleep with these men. So what that's not even like a good lie
Yeah.
to tell your cousin of, oh yeah, I'm just gonna dance and that's it. You're gonna dance for two guys in his house.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
You could have just danced for both of them while you're in the club.
It doesn't make any
So this
sense.
doesn't make sense. So you're not even giving a good lie. But one of the things that we see, what's her name, Ronnie, say even at the beginning when Diamond starts working there, she's like, yo, basically you gotta pretend like you're just like dancing for yourself in the mirror and that you're just having fun in your own house.
Mhm.
Because basically like you have to kind of have like a certain amount of dissonance to allow you to actually do it.
Pretend like you're at home in your bathroom by yourself.
That's it.
That's it. And drink as much as you can handle as fast as you can. You might as well get faded.
If you need to like get drunk to do your job, probably
Mhm.
not like a job for you to be doing. Um and yeah, that ends up really poorly for her, and which is why later on in the film she stops drinking.
Mhm.
Because basically she goes to a private party with Trix and Ronnie, and Ronnie again, making money off of these women, gets paid extra by the guys in the party to basically watch her have sex with Diamond, who is passed out drunk on the bed.
Yeah.
So she basically gets sexually assaulted by her coworker. And at that point, obviously their relationship is cooked. So this is why we see the tension by the time Ebony shows up that wasn't there at the beginning. Then Ebony is now repeating the cycle, but she seems to have like an actual drinking problem. And it's
Yeah.
so bad now
Yeah.
to the point where even the customers are noticing, like, oh, she's always drunk.
Mhm. What I didn't understand is when it comes to Ronnie in the Diamond situation, it's like, Ronnie, you assaulted her, but then it's like you're looking at her like you got beef with her. That's why I couldn't understand. She's looking at her like, "Oh, this trick," and it's like,
Cause
you assaulted
she won't
her,
let her do
bro.
whatever you want anymore. And she feels like she should be able to like get what she wants from all the other girls in the club. That's clear from the way that she moves.
But she because even later on, there's a white lady who works there. They call her like Vanilla or something.
Uh-huh.
And she said, "Oh, you're going to my brother's bachelor party?" She's like, "Junior?" She was like, "Hell no." So it's like there are other girls giving her pushback. It wasn't just
That's
Diamond.
true.
That's why I was like, why is it that when it comes to Diamond, you are so pressed? That's why I really couldn't understand. And at one point, she says to her, like, I feel like I can get, like, anything I want in this club. This club is mine. And because, Diamond wasn't really about that life and was like, get off of me. Like, it was a problem. But it's like, I really don't think she was running all of the girls like that.
Nah, yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I don't know. It also felt like she began targeting Ebony specifically because she was Diamond's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was almost like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like, if I can't control you, then I'm gonna control your cousin. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it more, I think the answer to your question is not just about her giving pushback. It's about the fact that Ronnie, I think, wants Diamond.
Hmm.
Because from the beginning, she's like flirting with her, very close in her personal space, grabbing her ass, smacking her ass every time she walks past. And at first, she's just kind of like, all right, maybe this is like just how the strippers interact with each
Yeah.
other. But then later on in the film, towards the end of the movie, we see Ronnie like corner Diamond in the locker room and basically tries to rape her again.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, she's like, either you could give it to me or I'm gonna take it. So I'm like, oh, so this is all about you having some like sexual attraction to this woman who doesn't want you, and so now you're mad.
Yeah, I guess. It
And
was,
obviously, this woman's a rapist. So,
well, it runs in the family, apparently.
yeah. Um, you say when Diamond lets Ebony into the house, you can already see
Bro.
trouble.
Because Lance looked at her like she walked by, and I was like, and then as the movie progresses later on, there's a scene where Diamond comes home from work, and Lance is just like sitting, like in the dark. I feel like I actually came home and turned the light on, and Lance was sitting there. And she was like, "What are you doing in my apartment?" And he was like, "Oh, Ebony let me in." And I was like, "Don't like that, because why are you just letting my man into the apartment?" Okay, fine. They get into this huge fight, and basically, actually, before the fight happens, let me go back a second. Before the fight happens, there's a scene where they come in the house and they're having a conversation, and Ebony comes out of the room, out of her bedroom to like gets a glass of water or something in the kitchen. She's wearing a wife beater and drawers, and that's it. And Diane looks over at her and she's like, can you put some clothes on?" She's like, "For who? Lance? He ain't nobody." And it's like, but her like entire ass was just out, like,
Nah, it's crazy.
and it was like, bro, you obviously want him to look, and you have no respect for your cousin, because why would you do this? And basically, Diamond's kind of like, "All right, Lance, let's go in the room," because she's wilding. So she's doing these little things, and then she kind of like chuckles about it. She's like, "Haha." So I'm like, why would you do your cousin like this? Why are you?
Yeah, I don't really understand.
I don't. So already they're planting little seeds that like, okay, something's gonna happen here. And then later on, she lets Lance into the apartment. They have a huge fight, and obviously the fight pissed me off because Lance, you met this woman in a strip club. She was a dancer. You fell for her. You started dating, and now you're mad at her profession. And now you're saying we don't have time to hang out because you work nights. Well, when you met her, she works nights. Oh, you gotta stop dancing for these guys. I don't like it. Are you gonna pay for my college?
Nah,
You know what I mean?
it's
Like,
definitely one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm attracted to this woman. She's so sexy, da da da. But now that she's my woman, then now she has to stop this thing. Now that she's with me, and then because she even says something to him along the lines of that, of like, yo, like I was dancing when you met me, like you literally met me in this club, and he's like, well, I didn't think this was gonna be like forever thing. I figured you'd stop by now or something. So it's like, I get the sense that he figured he was like gonna save this girl, quote unquote. Where it's like,
mm.
oh yeah, like we're together now. You have a man, so it's like you're not gonna still work there, right? Like you're with me now.
But again, are you paying my rent
But it's like,
and my
yeah, but it's
tuition
like I wasn't dancing to find a man. I was dancing to
to
make
make
money,
money?
and so I still need money.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I didn't understand his reasoning.
Nah, his reasoning was I don't want my girlfriend taking her clothes off for these other men. That was his reasoning. Now, whether it was, fair, whether it was reasonable, then that's another question.
So anyway, he gives her an ultimatum and says basically either you stop stripping or he's gone. So then she said bye, because what are we even talking about?
Right.
So he leaves. It's a wrap. It's over. And later on, just fast forwarding to later on in the film, there's a scene where she comes home, and when she gets home, she's calling for her cousin. Her cousin's not answering. She opens her cousin's bedroom door, and of course, we find Ebony and Lance in bed together. And he's like, "Oh no, it's not what it looked like." And why is that the line that I feel like guys would always say in movies? I don't know if they're still saying this.
Yeah, I don't know if they say that in real life. I don't know how many people get walked in on by their girlfriend either. That's a crazy thing to have happen to you.
The come home early is a real thing, I'm sure.
Huh?
The coming home early is a real thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, but then it's also like, it's not what it looks like can't be. That can't be the response. Because it's like, all right, so explain to me why you and my cousin are naked in bed. I would almost want to. No, I wouldn't.
You'd be too tight.
I would be too mad.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, bro, like it's not what it looks like. What else could it possibly be, other than what it looks like?
Hypothermia? You're trying to get body warmth?
Oh yeah, with no clothes on.
So to be fair, you actually do get more body warmth naked, skin to skin. That's actually a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what he was gonna say. It was hypothermia.
Yeah, so now she actually starts spazzing out, and apparently she has a gun in her house. And
Bro, everybody has a gun in this movie. There's so many guns in this movie.
She's shooting at Lance to get out of the apartment. And I'm like, yes, getting upset and being angry, I completely understand. But it's just like, again, in these movies, people just shoot all the time and cops don't ever get called. Nobody's concerned.
Nah, it's crazy
It's just
because
everyday sounds, I guess.
The previous scene is when they're in the club and Uncle Luke shows up. And there's a whole fight between Ice Cube's character and Alex Thomas's character. So their names are Reggie and Clyde. And I guess they're just like around the way guys. I'm not really exactly sure like what
I thought they worked for the loan shark.
For what's his name? St. Louis?
Yeah, the loan shark, since we even talk about Dollar Bill. Dollar Bill's the club owner, and
we'll
apparently he owns money. So I thought they worked for St. Louis, but I feel like whenever they had like actual work to be done, other guys were handling it. It wasn't them.
Yeah,
they didn't get anything
because
done.
they were supposed to be looking. They were supposed to be looking
for
Dollar Bill, but then it's also like, but the other guys are looking for Dollar Bill too.
Yeah.
I guess they were supposed to be the inside men that they would be able to catch him because Dollar Bill didn't know that they worked for St. Louis.
That makes sense.
I think that's what it was.
That makes sense. Okay.
But anyway, they get in a fight with Luke's security because they're trying to go into the private room where all the strippers are. And then he just like Ice Cube's character, Reggie just pulls out a gun and starts like shooting at them, but like it's like a crowded club. So you're just shooting into a crowd. He's not aiming or anything.
It was
like he's just like shooting like randomly. So I'm like, yo, I thought the bartender girl was gonna die.
I thought somebody was gonna die. I'm surprised no one did.
So then this happens, and then the next scene is when she comes home to catch her boyfriend in bed with her cousin. Then she starts shooting up. She basically starts shooting up her own house. Because she pulls a gun on Lance, and he's like, no, babe, let me explain, She's like, get out my house. And then as he's running away, she just like starts shooting at him. She shoots at the wall. She shoots at the lamp next to the front door. So I'm like,
why am I shooting at my own apartment?
Yeah, like that sounds crazy. Yeah, there's just like mad people pulling out guns. Her dad pulls out a gun when Jamie Foxx comes to pick her up for a date. Like, there's just mad people like pulling out guns throughout this movie.
You're shooting in the backyard.
Which like didn't really feel like a movie that needed this many guns. But like, all right. They didn't really add anything, so it's like, why does everybody have a gun?
Well,
St. Louis puts a gun in Dollar Bill's mouth.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot of gun violence.
It was a lot of guns.
So talking about the dad. So after she and Lance break up, Jamie Foxx's character, he's the DJ at the club, and he's been crushing on Diamond for a while. She's now available. He kind of asked her out. She's like, all right, we can go do something cool. And so he goes to her house to pick her up. Well, not her house. It's her parents' house. because she doesn't want anybody knowing where she lives. And she's being careful because one of her customers followed her home one night, the night that she finds Lance in bed with
Yep.
her cousin.
Apparently follows her home every night.
Every night, yeah. He's like, I always make sure you get home safe, he
Yeah.
said.
And he's like, yo, just let me in. She's like, no, bro, don't ever come to my house again.
He's like,
dog.
Diamond, but I spent so much money on you. And it's like, he seemed like a nice enough, like, nerdy guy who's just there to get a dance, you know? And it turned out, of course, the guy we think is the nice guy is not all that nice.
He was on his incel. He was on his incel move. Like, he was definitely on some like, yo, I spent this bread, so I'm owed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like all these other guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a nice guy, so that means I deserve blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, don't ever come here again and get out of my face. So she closes the door on him, and he's tight. And now, she's already flustered at this point. And then she comes in and catches them. So now she's like, well, now I have to shoot up my apartment. This is the only option.
So because all of that happens, now obviously she is leery about having anyone come to her house. So she has the DJ show up at her parents' house. Her parents are going to be watching her son for her to go on this date. And as she's getting ready, her dad answers the door and greets him. They're having a conversation. And so the dad's like, oh, like, you know anything about guns? And he takes him to the backyard and he pulls out like this whole suitcase full of whatever. He has the gun. He loads the gun up. And then he has like almost like a target practice set up in his backyard. But like, it's like it's like a marksman, like what do they call them? Posters. So it looks like like an actual person. So you have like different body parts. And so he starts like doing different shots, like, oh, one's in the chest, one's in the head. And then basically he says to him, like, whatever you do to your daughter, think that you're doing it to me. And then he shoots like the penis part of the poster.
Well, no, he says, if you like whatever you think about doing to my daughter, that's what I'm gonna do to you.
Oh. Either way, the line is ridiculous because my thing is this. So what is it about men in these movies that have like this control over their daughter's sexuality? His daughter's not 14 years old.
She's a grown woman.
She already has a child, and she's paying her way through school. And you're telling this guy, basically, if you do anything with my daughter, like, I'm going to do it to you. So, like, I can't even kiss your daughter then? I can't even hold her hand? Like, the whole thing is just it just reminded me of that whack-ass movie, Armageddon Day. Armageddon, not Day. I'm thinking about Independence Day and Armageddon. The ultimate horrible movie.
Wow, what a crossover.
Armageddon, when Bruce Willis's character is basically chasing around Ben Affleck on the oil rig because he finds out that he's dating his daughter. It's like, why do you feel so entitled to control what your daughter does with her body?
Right.
So the whole thing was just, it's supposed to be funny. I get it. It's supposed to be like, oh, ha, ha, don't touch my daughter. But it's like, this is not funny.
But this is the trope, right? This is always the trope of like, you know, the overprotective, intimidating dad before a date. We see this in Bad Boys 2.
Oh, yeah.
When the guy shows up to Martin Lawrence's house to take out his daughter and they're like making all those jokes. But yeah, this is always the thing. It's like, oh, a guy goes to pick up a girl on a date, and then she has to meet the dad. He has to meet her dad, and the dad like threatens to shoot him or something.
Yeah.
We even saw this in a Goofy movie when he goes to Roxanne's house.
Oh my god! And she's like, "Good dad, good dad."
And then her dad opens the door and just snarls at Max.
He's like a huge bulldog.
Yeah. So this is like the whole thing. It's like, oh yeah, before you go on a date with a girl, the dad intimidates you first.
Well, to be fair, I feel like the Goofy movie one was actually kind of funny because he just said, that was funny, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't try to shoot the kid. Yeah, so guns, like I said, guns galore in this film.
Well, speaking of guns, let's talk about when Ronnie takes Ebony to this party for some ATF agents.
Oh.
So at this point, we get a few fast forwards throughout the film, and then shortly after Ebony starts working at the Players Club, she kind of starts wilding out. She's not listening to her cousin. she's basically like under the wing of Trix and Ronnie, which are not people that you really want to be mixing up with.
Not at all.
But again, this is a very impressionable person who seems to be easy to manipulate. And now it's coming to the point where like she's not coming home at night. So she don't know what her cousin is doing, and her cousin's not being honest about what's going on either. But we see in one occasion she goes to a private party with Ronnie. I guess it's a retirement party for some guy who's in ATF. So he's there with like all his ATF buddies. And this is a room full of white men and these two black ass strippers.
And like older white men too. Like,
bruh.
You know, not even like hot white guys. Like
this scene, bro. This scene is crazy. Because basically Ronnie walks in the room like she owns the joint. She's bossing them around. And she's like, I want everybody's attention on me, da 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 da. And then this one guy is like ignoring her. So she calls him front and center. Yo, what did I say? I said everybody's eyes need to be on me. You gotta get punished now. You ready for some punishment? He's like, oh yes, please. So this is like obviously a repeat customer.
This is what they do, yeah.
Because she knows that this is what this guy wants. So she takes out a big paddle, like a paddle for like if somebody was pledging a fraternity. But it has like African print on it or something. So he pulls his pants down and she starts spanking him with the paddle. And he's yelling out, I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah.
You better sound off too. Say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah. Say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
One more time for Rodney King. Say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah. You lucky it's Black History Month, or it would have been a lot worse.
And then this happens like in front of all his buddies, and they're all just like laughing and throwing money at her, which is like kind of weird because I don't know that I want to watch my friend getting spanked. But then she's like, all right, who else got a problem? And they're like, oh, me next. So I'm like, oh, so all these guys have this weird kink where they... Yeah, like what was your read on that whole scene? Because I feel like there was a lot going on.
I feel like looking at it from Ebony's point of view, because Ebony at first didn't want to go out because she was like, first of all, like this is not our usual crowd because their crowd is black. Like they work at a black club, black dancers, black customers. So first of all, these are white guys. Second of all, they're old white guys. So she's like, I'm not going out there with them. Like this is insane. But then when she sees like Ronnie basically just like taking control of the entire situation, everyone's calling her ma'am, yes, bowing, like almost like getting on all fours for her. It's like she has complete control over these agents, and I don't think that Ebony could possibly anticipate that kind of reaction. And so
she couldn't demand that kind of reaction either.
Yeah, I think she almost kind of got some respect for her because it was kind of like, yo, she came out here and just like has all of them doing whatever she wants. Because she kind of smiled when she saw it. She was like, wow, like I couldn't do that, but she could. And so I almost feel like after she saw that, she kind of like maybe trusted her a little bit more to be like, well, if she can do this, obviously she knows how to get good gigs and get me money and whatever. And she, like you said, she's a lot more, not outgoing, but
she commands
comfortable
a room
in her skin and all that. And
she commands a room in a way that Ebony doesn't.
Yeah. And she's able to demean these men. Like they again, this is definitely a kink people who like to, be made fun of or stepped on or whatever. So, and a lot, it's probably because they spend all the time being so demanding in their job and in their regular life that now they're able to pay somebody to be demanding when it comes to them.
I mean, I thought the racial aspect of it was interesting too because like every single one of them to a man was white. And then here's this like black woman with a blonde weave coming in, spanking you with an African paddle, making you yell, I'm black and I'm proud. And so it's like, is this some sort of like white guilt kink? Yeah, because then it's all like they obviously intentionally got strippers from this black.
They wanted
nightclub.
they wanted black strippers.
So I'm like, what is this about? Like,
I mean, I can't tell you.
Some sort of like race kink.
I mean, that's definitely a thing. And I feel like it goes both ways. Like, I've heard crazy stories of black people who date white people who say all types of like they'll be like weird like master slave role play, which I think is absolutely insane.
That's bugged out.
But it's a kink.
That's super bugged out.
So maybe that's just that type of kink, but in reverse. It's like, oh, now I'm the one that's getting beat, and you're the one that's in charge. I mean, I don't know, man. People, psychology is a fascinating thing.
So meanwhile, the owner of the Players Club, his name is Dollar Bill, and this is played by Bernie Mac, and he has a very distinct way of talking throughout this film. You're not gonna get nothing.
Yeah, he mispronounces everything.
Yeah, he talks very fast, which Bernie Mac does anyway. But Dollar Bill specifically, I'm watching it with my wife, and she keeps being like, "What does he say?" I don't know what he's saying, which is hilarious. But he is. I don't even know what the right word is. He's kind of a deadbeat, I guess. Obviously, he owns this strip club. He employs all these women who he doesn't respect. He doesn't respect the DJ either because the DJ's asked him for more money or whatever, and he basically just tells him, "I'm not going to talk to you about this." But in the midst of this, he also owes this Badman, whatever he is,
St. Louis,
his name St. Louis, like $60,000. And St. Louis is sending his men to the club, like, I don't know if it's nightly, but certainly weekly, asking to collect on the money and beating up his tiny bouncer in the meantime, named Shorty. So it's like Shorty's getting like his head stuck in the car window. He's getting burnt on the nose by a cigarette. Like, he's getting all these things happen to him because they're trying to locate Dollar Bill, who's hiding from them. But he still hasn't paid them a dime.
No.
And he owes them like $60K, and they ask for him to start with a $10,000 payment, and he doesn't pay them anything. So throughout the course of this, the two thugs of St. Louis, who are played by Terrence Howard and
Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy, thank you.
Charlie Murphy.
Which is an interesting pairing. They are basically like trying to find this guy. And at one point, they finally locate him while he's trying to sneak out of the club. And they steal his car and throw him in the trunk. And this scene to me is mad funny. Like, I love this scene because obviously they are driving a stolen car, number one, and they have a body in the trunk. He's not dead, but he's knocked out. And of course, what happens? They get a flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're pulled over, which again, you can't open the trunk when you're on the side of the road. That's crazy. Number one, he could have been awake and tried to jump out. Now you're fighting this man on the side of the highway while cars are driving by. At the very least, somebody drives by and says like, "Yo, what was that?"
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the worst case scenario is a cop shows up, which of course is exactly what happens. So now they have to try to evade the cops opening the trunk while still trying to come up with some reason as to why they have what is very clearly Dollar Bill's car. So that like little interplay between the bad guys and the cops, I thought was like that was like a nice scene, especially with just like the whole tension of Dollar Bill's in the trunk and they don't want to open the trunk. And then the cop is played by John Amos from Good Times.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting to see him in this movie as well.
He got a shout because at one point when the guy says to him, "Did anybody tell you like the pops on Good Times?"
No, that's great.
And he kind of just made a face and just like didn't answer the question.
So yeah, so Dollar Bill's a waste man, and basically he spends the entire movie basically trying to run away from these guys that he owes money from. And it doesn't end well for him. Long story short, he basically gets kidnapped and is never seen again. So we can presume that he's like in some hole in the desert somewhere.
Yeah, he's done.
And then they blow up his club. We know that the club burns down because at the beginning of the movie, Diamond is standing on the burnt down lot where the club used to be, and she's reminiscing on when she used to work at the Players Club. So we know from the beginning of the movie this club is going to burn down. We just don't know how. What did you feel like? Yeah, what did you think of the whole dollar bill subplot?
I'll be honest, I hated it. I just felt like I get the fact that the whole club has to burn down some way, so they had to kind of come up with a story behind it. But it didn't really do much to add to
the club. Didn't have to burn down either.
Yeah,
she already stopped working there.
It didn't really do much to add to Diana's story, in my opinion. So I was just kind of like, okay, why do I need all this? Like, I was more invested in what's going on with her and her cousin. Is her cousin gonna be able to get out before something terrible happens to her? And also, like, throughout the film, we don't know that Ronnie sexually assaults Diamond till later on.
Yeah.
We know they have beef. We
just know they had
sure
a falling
why.
out, yeah.
So I'm more invested in, like, what's going on between her? Why is she looking at her like this? And also, like, why is Trix, like, even hanging out with Ronnie? Because, like, Trix never actually did anything as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
But she got in trouble at the end. And
yeah,
I was like, why is she, like, I was very confused as to why.
Why did she get arrested?
She was just lumped in with everything that Ronnie did, even though we never actually saw Trix do anything illegal. So that was strange to me. So I was trying to figure out small parts like that. And every time they went to Dollar Bill's story, I was just kind of like, this is inconsequential. So, and then again, because of the Dollar Bill story, we're getting things like, you know, Ice Cube's character shooting up the club. And like I just didn't need that. I was like, this is not adding anything to the story.
Well, the only purpose that it could possibly have in the film is for Bernie Mac to have Bernie Mac scenes.
Yeah.
So, like, it's really, like, his character exists for the, you know...
jokes?
Like, just for the comedic value. And, like, this movie is listed as a comedy/drama film.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any recollection of this movie being much of a comedy outside of Bernie Mac scenes. And watching it again, I still kind of felt that way. Like, this is a drama movie with, like, comedy scenes that are pretty much all coming from one person.
Exactly.
Jamie Foxx tells jokes as well, but not enough for me to call it a comedy film. So I feel like that he was trying maybe to, like, add some levity to this kind of heavy film, which it does. Like, it does lighten the film for sure. If you took out the dollar bill scenes, yes, the story's probably has less lag and is probably a little bit more intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a much heavier film.
That's fine by me.
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying whether that's good or bad. I'm just saying that's probably why he did it, is to make it lighter than just, like, making, like, this heavy film. And obviously has no problem making heavy films because... Well, no, he didn't make Boys in the Hood, though. He made Friday.
Yeah,
he was just in Boys in the Hood.
Correct. Well, speaking of heavy, we got to talk about the party.
We do have to talk about the party.
There's a lot of things I had questions about.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll let you take it. I'll let you take the first crack at it.
So Ronnie, like Joel said, is the woman who's basically, like, thinks she's the queen pin, I guess, queen pin of the bar, of the club. And she basically is asking different women to come and dance for her brother Junior's bachelor party. But as she's asking women, there are definitely a few dancers who are just like, for Junior? Oh, hell no, I'm not going to that. They're all saying no. So there's a reason why I'm assuming...
Which is a big red flag.
Yeah, no one wants to go dance at Junior's party. But she gets Ebony. She convinces Ebony to go. And she lies to her. And she's like, oh, yeah, you know...
She lies to her about multiple things.
She's like, yeah, Vanilla's coming, and, like, a few girls are coming, you know, I don't know. So when Ebony, first she didn't want to go at all. She convinces her to show up. When she shows up, she walks in, the guys are all like, oh, like, they're like little animals. They're like, oh, the stripper's here. Oh.
Nah, it's crazy because it's like,
what?
It's 15 men and one dancer.
Like, what?
So she's like, yo, I don't want to go out there by myself. And she's like, you got to come out there with me. She's like, I can't go dance with you. These are all my friends.
That would be weird. Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to just do it. The rest of the girls will come later. Like, I'm not getting anything out of this. This is what she says.
Which is a lie.
Despite the fact that her cousin literally pays her to bring the stripper. So she's getting money on the back end, on the front end rather, but then not telling Ebony that like, oh, I'm getting paid for this. And this is how she continues to convince her that like, oh, she's just giving me opportunities.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, she's giving herself money.
Exactly. Exactly. But I think what really boggled my mind is like, so before she even gets it, the guys are all waiting, I guess, for dancers to show up. They're like, yo, when the girls coming? And a few of the guys are like, yo, let's just put in another porno. So I'm like, so it's a bachelor party and y'all are just all sitting in a hotel room watching a porno?
And they were playing dominoes.
That's a bachelor party?
I mean, that wasn't my bachelor party.
Well, I would know. I was there.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
It just seems odd to me. I'm like, I feel like you'd want to be like actually like doing something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like let's go out to the casino, let's gamble, let's, go to a club.
Yo, everybody showed up
something.
to see strippers. Like that was the only reason they were there. So then it's like, yo, I'm here to see strippers. I'm gonna watch this porn, I guess, in the background to make me horny. I don't know.
It just seems odd to me. Granted, I'm not a man.
I also
but
thought it was odd.
I was like, this is not okay. Fine. So they're doing this. Eventually, Ebony's in there, and I guess she's getting ready to get dressed. She still doesn't want to go out. So now, mind you, this is after Diamond has found out that she had slept with Lance. So Ebony's down in the hotel, and she's calling.
Well, yeah, she kicks Ebony out of her apartment, and she's like cuts her off basically
because she had to.
Nah, yeah, as one does.
So then Ebony calls her on the phone, and this is while Diamond is out on the date with Jamie Foxx's character. So she's like, yo, she keeps calling me, but again, she's used to her cousin just doing whatever, staying out all night, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, I'm at this party with Ronnie, but I need you to come get me. And she's like, girl, bye, whatever. Hangs up on her multiple times because she's like, why are you calling me? You have some nerve, number one. And number two, you're always at a party with Ronnie. Like, what do you want me to do about this? So the last time...
So was she wrong in that instance? Was she wrong to leave her cousin out to dry?
I don't think she was wrong because, first of all, I wouldn't answer the phone. Let's start there. But it's like, you take the phone, you talk to her, and it's like, I don't even know why you're calling me. And she's like, oh, come get me. And it's like, why would I come and get you?
She said she's scared. And she did say, like, yo, I'm scared. I don't trust... She said in so many words that, like, she didn't feel comfortable there.
I think she was just so hot in that moment that it was just kind of like, I don't know.
Nah,
she does go eventually. She does go.
She does go. That's true. She does
She
show
tells
up.
her, I'm at this hotel, whatever, in whatever room. So I guess at the time when Ebony called her, she was on a date eating ice cream. So it seemed as if they finished eating whatever their ice cream, and then
like,
they went.
Let me just go over there and see what's going on.
Then they went over there. So I didn't really remember this part well. I remember that something happened, but I didn't remember the logistics of it. So what ends up happening was Ronnie actually wasn't in on, I guess, the assault initially because Ronnie gets distracted. Ice Cube's character, like his friend or his partner.
Yeah, the Alex Thomas character.
He's basically like, yo, come outside. Like he has some weed or something in the car. He's like, yo, come outside. So she's like, all right. Because she was supposed to be making Ebony a drink while Ebony would get dressed. And then Ebony would come outside. And her plan was to be there while the dancing happened. Well, while she was outside, this is when Ice Cube's character, he's mad because he was supposed to... Oops, I just dropped my water bottle. He was supposed to hook up with Ebony that night, but it never happened because Diamond stopped it. And I guess he was so mad about it, he goes to Junior, whose bachelor party is, and is like, yo, in case you didn't know, like, she'll let you hit. And he's like, what? Word? And he's like, yo, you get married tomorrow. Going back to what you always say, the bachelor party being the night before the wedding, which makes no sense.
In the movies, it's always the night before the wedding. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that in real life because it's a really stupid idea. But in the movies, it's always the night before the wedding.
So he's like, yo, it's your last night of freedom. And he's like, yo, man, I would, but like, I ain't got no rubbers. He's like, it's your lucky day. So I'm like, bro, you're setting this girl up to be raped. Like, the whole thing was so disgusting.
Well, so he's setting her up to get assaulted because he's mad that he didn't get to sleep with her.
Yeah.
Which is like super weird. But also, he doesn't actually tell Junior to assault her. Junior just does that because he's like, yo, if you go in there with her, she'll let you sleep with her. Okay, cool. I am going to sleep with this girl and wear a rubber so that my wife doesn't find out about it
Right.
tomorrow. Okay. That's one thing, which is already like kind of problematic. But then you go in the room and she's like, hey, what are you doing
She's
in
like,
here?
yeah,
I
I'm not
need you to
ready.
get out.
Yeah.
And then he forces her.
Yeah.
So like Ice Cube didn't tell him to do
No,
that.
yes, you're right.
And he was very willing to just like go with this plan. Like, was Ice Cube probably knew Junior's gonna force the issue because this is the type of person that Junior is.
Yeah.
So like Ice Cube's definitely a guilty party here, but it's not like he had to twist
He was
Junior's
in
arm.
there. Yeah, no, yes.
Like he
Junior's
tells Junior
clearly the
like, yo,
worst.
you can go have sex, and he's like, great, I'm gonna rape her now. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it got out of hand. And
it's crazy.
honestly, like that scene, we don't see what's happening, but just like the audio alone is so jarring because like it goes from 0 to like 1,000 very quickly. Like,
well, yeah, let's talk about what we hear because
oh my gosh, it's
they-
like she's getting tossed around the room. Like things are breaking. She's screaming out, "No, get off!" He's hit. Like you hear like sound like someone's getting hit across the face. Someone's getting thrown. Glass is being broken. She's yelling, and the guys outside the door are hearing it, and they're like, "Oh nah, this is not cool. Like nah, I'm out of here," and they leave. And I'm like, so no one's gonna try to stop him? Like I just couldn't understand. Like you see what's going on, and you're just gonna leave the girl there and just bounce.
nah, that was crazy.
No
Like,
one tried to step in.
And I did not remember that happening. Like I remember like Junior assaulting her. Cause like I said, that's a scene that you
You
just
won't
can't really
forget.
forget. What I did not remember was that everyone in the party knew what was happening, was disgusted by what's happening, and instead of doing anything about it, they were just like, hey, I'm out. So then they just like all left the party. Ice Cube was the one standing by the door the whole time. He's the first person to hear something, and he tells them to turn the music down. So it's almost like he was enjoying listening to it.
Yeah, that's what I got.
While everybody else was disgusted and they left, Ice Cube like sticks around for a
Yeah.
while, and he's like listening in on it. Like, yeah, that's what you get for not
It
letting
was
me and my
so-
friend rape you a week ago. Like, what?
It was so bizarre. It was so bizarre.
He plays a really disgusting character, and I thought it was interesting for him to have written this and then agree to play like the most disgusting character in the whole movie.
Well, about that, he actually said in an interview that he deliberately cast himself as the villainous tough guy because he said typically directors always go for the cliche of casting themselves as the heroes, and he wanted to do something different.
Okay,
So it was a choice.
I mean, that was obviously a choice. It was his movie.
It was a choice. So after this happens, all the guys are running out. So now Ronnie is coming back in after, getting her drugs or whatever. And she's like, yo, is everybody going? Like, what's happening? Because she honestly has no idea what's going on. And when she walks in, this is when Ice Cube's character Reggie says to her, it's like, yo, just tell Ebony that I said, we know that no means no. And then he walks out. And I was like, bro, he was just so disgusting. Like, he pissed me off so
disgusting.
much. So now Ronnie is like, hello? She's like, Ebony, Junior, what's going on? Somebody answer me. So then Junior opens the door. He's like, looking like a hot mess. And he's like, yeah. And then we see Ebony, like, on the bed.
She's like, oh my God,
sprawled
no.
out, blood all
well, we
over.
don't see her at first.
Oh, you're right. We don't see. We just see Ronnie screaming. What did you do? I mean, now she's hitting her brother. What did you do? What did you do? And he's like, what? What do you... Like, it's not his fault.
It was her fault.
Yeah. He's like, what do you want me to do? Like, what?
She kept saying no.
He's like, well, I don't know. So she's like, we gotta get your stuff. We gotta get out of here. So she quickly runs in, grabs her bag. And remember, this is a hotel. Who knows? This might have been a cash-only spot. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's no ID taken for all we know. So, like, she just went, grabbed her bag, grabbed her brother's stuff, and they just, like, bounced and just left Ebony there. We don't know what's going on. You're right. Until Diamond eventually shows up with the DJ. And she's like already talking crap. She's like, yeah, let's go see. She's like, what Ebony talking about? If she's even still here, you know how Ebony is. So they walk in, they see like
she's like, my cousin is a hoe. And she's like, I knew you was a hoe before you moved up here.
Yeah.
I should have never let you stay in my house.
You know what? I ain't even mad at you. Because you a hoe. I knew you was a hoe before you moved up here. I should have never let you live in my house. And I should have never brought Lance around you anyway. That was my fault.
So she's like, let's see if she even still here. So then they walk into the room and she's like, Ebony, and I believe did he find her first or did she? Either way.
I don't know.
They find her. And then we're able to finally see the state that Ebony is in. And it looks crazy. Like, she's laying on the bed. She's naked. She's bleeding from her face. There's like blood on her chest. There's sheets everywhere. And she's knocked out. She's not responding. And so she runs in.
She got beat up.
No, yeah. I mean, it's bad.
She got beat up. And I thought that the direction choices throughout the film were actually pretty cool. Whether that was just like, using kind of a high zoomed out shot for, when the car is driving around in circles with Shorty's head in the window, or the first time that Ebony walks into the strip club, we get this really cool shot of like it pans around the entire club so you can see all the people, the dancers, the patrons, the bar, and comes back around to Ebony taking it all in. Like, that was probably my favorite shot of the whole movie. But in this particular scene, I love the choice to not show the audience what they're seeing, what Ronnie is seeing until the end of the scene.
End, yeah.
Because, like, you're like, oh, like, something really bad happened. And they probably could have even gotten away with not showing it at all. But I feel like he probably made the choice of, like, nah, we need to, like, make this visceral.
And even when we do see it, it's kind of like the shot is from above, looking down, and we just see, like, her lying on the bed, her cousin holding her head, and then you see the DJ, like, with the phone saying, call security, somebody, get somebody up here. And she's just lying there still. And I was like, bro, like, did he kill her? Like, I mean, I just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks
possible.
bad.
It's possible. And if they didn't show up when they did, it's very likely or possible that she might not have woken up.
Yeah. So after that happens, this is when Diamond now is seeing red. And
then Ronnie just goes back to work.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, like, I'm just going to pretend like I was here all night.
Well, she tells, because her girl Trix is there.
Yeah, and
Trix is
also
their BFF.
And also, Dollar Bill's not actually doing a good job of, like, running.
He has no idea.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. So then she's back there. So then Ebony shows up and she's like, I got to talk to you about my cousin. Everybody clear out. Everybody's looking at her like, clear out. And then she pulls out a gun. Don't forget the gun.
Yeah, the same gun that she shot up her apartment with. Now she starts shooting. She shoots at the roof.
Mm-hmm.
She shoots at the roof in the middle of the dressing room. So everybody's like, I'm out of here now. So they all leave.
And again, when people shoot up like that, bullets come down. Not to mention, if they're underground and there's people upstairs,
right?
You could have just shot somebody above.
I don't know.
No one thinks about where the bullet goes when they shoot.
Nah.
So she shoots, everybody clears out. Even Trix, Ryan's BFF, is like, I love you, girl. I'll call you later.
Yeah.
And she bounced. And she basically, like, accosts her and was like, yo. Then she tells the DJ, watch the door. He's like, here's the gun, watch the door. Don't let anybody come in here. And they basically proceed to have a cat fight.
Yes, 100% cat fight.
Because she's like, you basically, like, did all this to my cousin. Whatever. They start fighting. Ronnie's giving a good fight. I mean, they're both getting hit. They're breaking glass. They're being thrown all over the place. They're rolling on the floor.
They broke every mirror in that dressing room.
It's destroyed.
It's just like, yo, we're gonna have these two women go at it because Ronnie is the true villain of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, she's a rapist and a pimp. So it's like, she's an awful person. So it has to all come to a head because it's like, not only did you, like, take advantage of me, but then now you almost got my cousin killed. So, of course, they have to have some big climax.
Yeah.
And what better way than to have these two strippers fight in the dressing room?
Yeah. What better way? And they also...
Which is kind of like what happens at the end of Friday, too. Like, There's the big bully, and then him and Ice Cube have a fight.
Yeah.
So
With no weapons.
yeah. There's no weapons in this fight either.
No weapons. You gotta use your fists. And they do that 90s thing where it's like towards the end where Diamond obviously ends up kicking Ronnie's butt. And towards the end, it's like every time she would kick her, she'd be like, "This is for my cousin." And this is
Yeah. Nah, it's like
it.
it's like after you beat them up and they're on the ground, then you gotta like do every kick has to be like for something.
Yeah.
it's like, and this is for the time when you. It's like, all right, man.
He said, "And this is for me." And then she spit on her. I was like, okay. So now the next scene we see is when Diamond walks outside the club. The cops are now there, and the cops have arrested Ronnie and Trix. And like I said, I don't know why Trix got arrested.
Yeah, I guess. So, Junior obviously is arrested because he raped a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie's arrested because she got paid to bring this woman to this hotel room with 15 men in it. So that's like soliciting prostitution. It's unclear what Trix had to do with any of this because she wasn't at the hotel. As far as we can tell, she wasn't involved in any way. The only presumable explanation for it, other than she's one of the bad guys, so she just gets arrested. But if we were try to like give this choice some explanation, it would be that at some point in the course of them doing these house parties, like Trix was doing this too, where she was like basically flipping these girls for guys, having them do X, Y, and Z, and then taking money from it, which is illegal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure maybe other women end up speaking out eventually. Who knows? But this has been going on for a while.
Yeah, this is a generous read.
Yeah.
Because
it wouldn't happen that fast.
Yeah, they get arrested the night of the assault.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no really reason for Trix to get arrested other than like Trix and Ronnie are a duo, and so they both go to jail.
It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, it's just like, the bad guys go to jail. That's all it is. Perfect.
So something we didn't really talk about in this movie is like the use of the word hoe, because when Diamond first gets there, and her name is Diana at the time, you have not Trix. Ronnie basically says to her, like, she slaps her on the ass and she's like, "All right, now go out there, hoe." And she's like, "Hoe?" And she was like, "Yeah, they're gonna be calling you a hoe, so you better get used to it." And throughout the movie, Diana is dead set against making sure people know like she's not a hoe. Like, for instance, when she's at college and she's getting ready to get her graduation cap, there are people on the line, women and men, who are like, "Well, that's a good that dances down at Players Club." And one of the guys makes a joke about, "Do you want some dollars to come and dance with me and my boys?" Basically calling
in the dining hall.
Yeah.
Give us a table dance in the dining hall.
And
it's like, come on, bro.
She gets offended, and
you're doing this in the middle of a university building. Like, you're throwing dollars at another student on campus in front of staff. It's like, what are you doing, dog? This is crazy. And it's mad disrespectful, and for what reason?
Because they can.
That scene annoyed me, man.
It has to.
Because I'm like, this is so unnecessary.
It is.
This girl's trying to get her graduation cap. Like, just leave it, man.
But I feel like it's one of those things where she was very like, "I'm not a hoe, I'm not a hoe, I'm not a hoe." Throughout the movie, I feel like it kept coming up. Like, do you have any thoughts on why they kept using the word, or like why she was so insistent that she wasn't one of the other girls, although she was?
Well, yeah, because I think that's the whole point of this movie, right? The whole point of this movie is telling the story of someone who works in a strip club who takes off their clothes for money. But it's like, oh, this is a dangerous world. But you can't assume that everyone who works in a strip club is the same and that they're not all willing to do the same things. And so because this is our main character, and so Ice Cube, I'm assuming in writing this character, is trying to say like, yo, this is a job that people don't really respect, but this is actually a good person. And so what if we look at it from a different angle? And so I think because of how Diamond has been set up throughout the course of this movie as like a person and as a hard worker and as a good student and like as a good mom. He's trying to like draw the line between her and Trix and Ronnie and even Ebony of like, oh, they just want to make money by any means. She is willing to do this, but she's not willing to do that.
Why did I think about that Meatloaf song?
I would do anything for cash.
But I won't do
that. So I have a question for you. Because earlier in the year, but I don't even know if it was this year. But earlier in the history of this podcast, one of our previous episodes was around the movie Soul Food, which famously features a not Tony Braxton, Vanessa Williams' character has a cousin that comes to stay with her and ends up sleeping with her husband in their house. So, who is the worst cousin? Cousin Faith or Ebony?
Faith. Hands down. I don't know who is beating Cousin Faith, honestly, because they're a married couple and have been married for years.
That's true.
It's completely different. Like, yes, sleeping with your cousin's boyfriend is terrible, especially when she's putting you up in your house. But in the same way, Faith was also living in her house.
Technically ex-boyfriend, because they had just
That's what I'm saying.
up.
Like, I feel
but she's still sad about it. Like, because she was still like, oh, like, we broke up, da-da-da. Like, she wasn't like... Yeah. So she's still, like, getting over the relationship.
No, she's definitely not right. But I'm saying Cousin Faith for me, like, I don't know who's beating Cousin Faith. Like, she's like the bottom of the barrel for me.
Worst
of the worst.
Worst cousin of all time with honors.
With demerits.
With demerits, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's not even a question. No, thank you.
All right.
Themes?
So, yeah, I mean, they say this multiple times throughout the movie, so it's hard to like really miss this, but
they say what?
Make the money, don't let it make you. And again, like I think that's the whole point of this Diamond character is like, yeah, you can do things as a means to an end, but don't let the way that you make money change who you are. And it's like, yes, this woman becomes a stripper. She gets naked and takes tips from men, but she doesn't allow herself to like lose her morality in the process. She doesn't allow herself to lose her values. And the one time she is allowed to be manipulated, she ends up getting sexually assaulted. So it's like a cautionary tale, but also like, yo, you can get this cash. Of course, making money is important, but don't let it change who you are.
Yeah. And also, I feel like Ebony was just a bad stripper because if you think about...
Well, she's drunk all the time.
You think about the fact that Diamond was able to pay her way through college by doing this job.
And she says like, oh, my cousin Ebony came to stay with me. She wanted to learn more about the club because she was so impressed with my apartment.
So yeah, like she was making money.
She's making good money. She's not making money like Ronnie, who's driving a convertible because she's robbing people. But
that's completely different. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, Ebony, because at one point, Ronnie even says to her, like, oh, you're going to be sitting here doing these like dances for like $10. I said, $10? Dancing for $10?
Nah,
come on, bro.
A $10 lap dance is crazy.
I might as well go get a regular job for all that. Get a job at the mall.
Yeah, you could cut hair and get $10. You could get you could do mad other things.
A lap dance for $10?
Well, I mean, a lap dance is much shorter than a haircut. Yeah,
still,
it's $10 for like 3 minutes of work.
Come on, bro. That's not it. So I was like, nah, this is not the job for you, Ebony. You got to do something else. So at the end, of course, Ebony ends up. She's alive. We find out, her jaw has been basically wired. I mean, she looks a hot mess, but she's alive. And she learned her lesson. And now she's working at the same exact shoe store that her cousin used to work at. And while she's there, of course, there are two young strippers looking for shoes. And they're like, oh, my God, I can't believe you work here. I can't imagine doing this job. And Ebony's like, yeah, well, I couldn't imagine doing yours.
Yeah, this is why my face looks like
Yeah.
this.
And they're like, oh, girl, whatever. And then, of course, Diamond is in there with her son, I guess looking for some shoes for work. And she's now still dating Jamie Foxx's character. They're like a couple now. And she turns to her cousin and she's like, girl, make that money. Because the customer's like, hey, I'm looking for a size. Make that money. And then she turns and looks at her and Ebony's like, don't let him make you or something. I was like, okay. We get it. That's the catchphrase for the movie.
Well, there's one part before we get to the facts. There's one part of the movie that we didn't talk about because we see multiple times throughout the film that she is staying up all night dancing, and then when she goes to class, she keeps falling asleep in her lectures.
Oh, the professor.
And at one point, the professor shows up at her strip club, and she freaks out. I don't know if there's really anything to talk about there,
It's just
but
rightfully so, bro.
I was just thinking like how embarrassing that would be if like you basically are living these two different lives and then your worlds collide in the most embarrassing way possible. It's like, yo, my professor is walking in while I'm like taking my top off and dancing on this guy.
Ugh.
And this is somebody who I really want to respect me as a student. But he just pretends like it never happened. He ends up like giving her a connection with somebody who works at BET.
Mhm.
So presumably she has something lined up after graduation.
Yeah.
And she's dressed professionally at the end of the film. So we can
Yeah.
assume that, oh yeah, she says, oh, like if I seem familiar to you, you know where you see me is probably on TV.
Yeah.
So it's
So
like,
she has a job.
She
now.
got a job immediately. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I did like that because I was worried that it was gonna get weird, but he was very cool about it. He was like, "Yo, I haven't seen you in my class for a while. I wonder why that is." And also, I did some investigation, and like, you've been in everybody else's class except for mine. So like, what's going on? And he basically just like, yeah, like, kind of glosses over it. He's like, "So I'll see you tomorrow."
You're doing this to get
we
bread.
get it.
Like whatever. I'm not judging you, but you're a good student,
Yeah.
so I'm still gonna help you. So
I was
nice.
happy about that because I was a little nervous about what was gonna happen there.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough things to get nervous about in this
Yeah.
movie.
All right.
All right, let's talk facts.
Couple of facts. Do you know how Ice Cube got his name?
No.
Oh, I thought you might know.
No, I actually don't.
You're a
know
hip hop
this.
head.
I do not know this.
So apparently, he said back when he was younger, about 11 or 12 years old, he had an older brother who, would be on the phone with girls. And he said around that age, I would start to get into girls. And so when the girls would call the house for him, like the brother, and he wasn't there, he said I would try to like talk to the girls, like try to spit game. But he's like, apparently his brother was like much older, like he's like 11 or 12, and the girls are like in high school.
Right.
And he's like trying to spit game. And of course, the girls would later tell the brother and be like, "Yo, your little brother got on the phone and said blah, blah, blah," and they would laugh about it. And so he said when his brother found out, he started calling him Ice Cube as a joke because he said, "I was trying to be too cool." So
That's
he called him
funny.
Ice Cube. And the name just basically stuck out. He said basically everybody in the hood started calling him Ice Cube, and that's been his name ever since, which is kind of dope.
Yay.
He said that the first time he went to a strip club, he was in Atlanta.
I thought you were going to say he was 12 or 13.
No. He was on tour. Like, he was rapping at the time. And he said he went to Atlanta. He went to like this
That's a great place to go to your first trip.
He said he went to this old place. So it wasn't like a good one.
Oh.
And he said it blew me away. I felt like I was in the pit of hell. He said,
That's crazy.
He said it was a seedy and shady place where anything could happen. I could feel heavy things were going on. There was like a whole pecking order. Drugs, alcoholism, hustlers coming in and out of every door. There were naked girls walking around. There was money manipulation. He said it was a place where I felt like it preyed very strongly on the weak. I was like, good God. Like a very oppressive, air.
That doesn't sound like a fun night out.
And so he said basically he didn't want to do a movie that was similar to striptease or showgirls. Like that type of Hollywood approach, he said, because I feel like that's not really true. I wanted to stick to my guts and not sugarcoat the situation. He said, you can't look at that type of lifestyle and hide the truth. So that's why he wanted to make a movie that kind of talked about the dark things that can come from working in a strip club. I was like, well, you definitely brought out the dark because I'll tell you what, watching this movie is not going to make you want to dance.
No, definitely
You
not.
know, maybe showgirls might for some people. The glamour and glitz of it all.
And it's definitely not gonna make you want to do house parties.
Oh hell no, definitely not. All right, and now
It's time for the Rewind Ratings.
All right, so this was my pick, so I'll go first. I feel like I said, I've seen this movie a few times. I've enjoyed it, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to see this again, because I didn't remember a lot of the details. I just obviously I remembered that something happened with Lisa Ray's cousin. She slept with somebody. I couldn't really remember the details, but I remember them having a falling out. I remember that line. You's a hoe. You always been a hoe. I knew you was a hoe before you moved up here. And then obviously I remembered like there being an assault at a house party. But I was kind of like blurring it with like something that happened in The Wire and like a bunch of other like things. Like 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 something
just
happened with
mixing
with a
things.
stripper
Yeah,
at a house
yeah.
party. I couldn't remember. But anyway, um I don't know. I feel like watching it back was some of the stuff that I liked, I still liked, but I feel like I liked it a little less than I remembered. Like I feel like I remembered Bernie Mac's scenes being really funny, but I didn't find them as funny this time. I mean, Bernie Mac's still a funny person, and the way that he says things is funny, but I think having seen it before, it didn't hit the same. And I also feel like, to your point, it kind of gets in the way of the main narrative at certain points where it doesn't feel like a worthwhile B story. Um, but I feel like in terms of like the main character, the message, and like the overall idea of what he was trying to do with this movie, I feel like he does do that. There are some things that we've already mentioned that I feel like are kind of not so much plot holes, but like plot explanation holes where it's like, oh, this thing happened, but like, why would this happen? Um, so I think that probably like knocks it down a little bit in my head, but I still generally I still generally enjoyed it. So I'm gonna give it like a I'm waffling between two scores. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'll give it 3 rewinds.
Okay, so a nice split down the middle.
Yeah, like I probably would have given it like a 3.5. In my head, that's probably what I thought it was, but I feel like having actually watched it again, I don't think it warrants that. So I'm knocking a .5 off.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit lower than you, just because I don't know. Like I mentioned it before, but I feel like all of the parts with Bernie Mac's character and that whole subplot and like the whole Uncle Luke being there and all that, I was just like, why is this here? Like it just to me, I felt like I just wanted to get back to the main story, and it just seemed like a distraction.
Well, I will say him shooting up the club felt a little unnecessary, other than to be like, hey, this is something that happens at like ghetto strip clubs. That was really the only value of it, but I did appreciate the idea of like what happens when a celebrity shows up. Like I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing like, oh, like there's money up here, and then he hits a button, and like the whole dressing room turns green, and like everybody runs upstairs. And I don't know if there's like a money button that a club owner uses, but I'm sure there's some way to alert people when like, yo, James Harden just showed up. Yo, Wale is here. Like, I'm sure there's a way to make sure that everybody gets to the floor when celebrities show up. So like that was an interesting thing to see, and I feel like that was the
The
value
point of
of
that
him.
scene.
Yeah, of him being in the film. But anyway,
I mean, that's fine. I just, for me, maybe I just was like, get to the point of it all. Because this movie was, what, almost 2 hours? 144?
it's like normal film.
I mean,
length.
it was fine. I just feel like it was fine. The movie was fine. I didn't feel like, oh, I really want to watch this again, or I don't know. I just felt like I sat through it, I took my notes, and I said that was fine. So You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So like it was fine. There were a lot of holes. Like I said before, I'm not gonna go through them again. Like, why did this happen? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but we want to put her in this place, so we're just gonna make it happen. Fine. Would I watch this movie again? Maybe. I'm giving it a 2.75.
Okay. That's actually, I was waffling between that and the 3.
Oh.
But I was like, nah, I'll give Ice Cube the extra 0.25.
Okay, so we were
But
pretty
then
we were
then
pretty
you
close.
docked it anyway, so there it is. Well, how many rewinds would you give the Players Club, listeners? Please let us know your rewind rating for this film. You can drop a comment under the posting for this. You can also drop a comment directly on Apple or Spotify. You can also reach out to us via social media. We could be reached at RR90spod and also via email at rewindrewatch at gmail. Rewindrewatch1990s at gmail.com.
Oh, I actually wanted to shout out a listener. We received a message on our Welcome to the Dollhouse episode this week.
Oh, wow. Somebody's digging in the archives.
Yeah, this message came from Julia B on Spotify.
Shout out to Julia B.
Her message says, I first watched this movie as a 13 or 14-year-old awkward white girl, middle child, with a nerdy older brother and a more socially adept younger sister.
Oh, so this was her life.
My dad recommended it to me at the time, which is weird, but okay.
That is very weird. This is a very weird movie to recommend to your daughter.
She says it hit and still does. The rape stuff was interpreted to me at the time as the boy wanting to feel tough and Dawn feeling afraid but curious because she felt so little of herself that she didn't think she had anything left to lose. And then she closed off by saying, love y'all.
No, yeah. We love you too. Thank you for listening. I definitely think that was the point of it. I think it was still unsettling because they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like making all these comments about how he's gonna like sexually assault his classmate and they're in like 6th grade. It was jarring.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree with the overall sentiment that he didn't know how to like prove that he kind of liked her, and he was trying to prove that he was tough at the same time. And she was just like having this like sexual awakening, going through puberty and like not knowing how to deal with all of that either. And they're both immature. So like, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, shout out again to Julia B. And thanks for commenting. And if you want to be like Julia B. and have us read one of your comments on the air, then yeah, definitely, like Joel said, leave a comment. And did you mention Patreon already?
I did not.
Okay, well, I guess I'll do that. If you'd like to join our Patreon and listen to episodes where we talk about films from the late 80s and the early 2000s, you can join for just $5 a month. And we have a Patreon chat where you can talk to other patrons as well as me and Joel. All right. Do you have any final words for the Players Club?
In this business, closed legs don't get fed.
I'm going to say, you look like you got your ass whipped.
That's also very Friday coded.
That was.
It was the same thing.
It was.
It's like the bad guy got beat up and then everybody stood around them and it was like, yo, you just got knocked the fuck out, man. It was like, all right. Well,
All right.
At least he's consistent.
See y'all later.
Adios.